Hi gals, this is Karen and this is Fave LIfestyles, and we are doing a series right now on health and wellness, and I have Suzette Parker, and we are starting over again. We've been having some technical difficulties, but I think we figured it out, so we decided just to start over. So if you were listening before, you might hear a couple things, but you'll definitely hear some new tips and tricks to have better relationships and to kind of get what we want out of the relationship. And we are filming live at the golf club at Echo Falls, and they are giving a special. So listen in to the end because they are giving a coupon for all the people who are listening to Fave LIfestyles. And you'll want to come here. There's a beautiful lake and just a wonderful place to have lunch. It's gorgeous out here. And
then I'm also doing a special, right?
Yes, you are doing a special too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there's 20% discount on any coaching package or workshop if you decide to do that. So.
Yes, and how would they redeem that?
So just call me and tell me that they saw it on Fave LIfestyles.
Yes, and Suzette is a wonderful life coach. I have invited her here because I have known Suzette for quite some time, and I have heard her teaching. She was on a radio show called
Coffee with the Coaches. That was back in 2011. That was a long time ago.
Oh my gosh, it seems like it was just yesterday. Right. But I have had the opportunity to hear her teach and to give some of her wisdom, and I just love the way how she really is patient, and you always seem to just really have little tidbits of tips and good things for all of us. So lots of women's issues, and relationships is definitely one that we can all work on, whether, like you were saying, tell us a little bit about.
Oh yes, relationships. They're so hard. You know, we all want to have great relationships, but so often we feel like we're failing. And yeah, I mean, we have friendships that just don't work, you know, they don't click along like we want them to, and marriage, well, my goodness, marriage is a tough one, right?
Yes, and I know a lot of ladies who are, you know, have been married for a long time. You think you've got it all down, and then all of a sudden, everything goes haywire, and you're like, okay, I was communicating well before, what happened?
Right.
And so
that's the seasons of marriage too. So I do a lot of relationship coaching and workshops. I do a couple of different workshops, Oxygen for Your Relationships, and then also the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, and Bringing Baby Home, which is a relationship workshop for young couples, and I just did that one this last weekend.
Oh, is that right? So you host seminars as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So they can find out about your current seminars on your website.
They are on my website.
Yes, and she does have a Facebook page as well, and they can find you at
coachingforholyliving.com.
Okay.
Oh, Facebook. Sorry. Suzette Parker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just my name, Suzette Parker. It's S-U-Z-E-T-T-E. I have to spell everything. My website and my name, they're all different.
Oh my gosh, yes. So tell us a little bit, you know, as we're talking about relationships, you know, it can be with the girlfriends or, like you said, with marriage or, you know, anything. And then I know as we're coming into the holidays too, sometimes relationships are...
Yes.
Yeah, family, you know, we love our family, but, you know, sometimes it can just be hard to communicate. Give us some tips on how to productively, positively help others or communicate.
Right, okay, so if we're just talking about relationships and us communicating to them, asking broad questions is a huge thing, and avoiding the question why, and I'll talk about both of those things separately. So broad questions are one of those things that when we get too detailed into somebody's life, then we start pinpointing and they feel like we're trying to control them, like we have an agenda, and maybe we don't, but they feel that way. And so it feels kind of impersonal to us, but it feels very personal to the person being asked the question, which is so odd. It's totally counterintuitive.
Right.
And so when we step back and ask bigger, broader questions, and I guess we could give an example of one. So if somebody's talking about maybe changing jobs, then instead of saying, well, where have you applied, asking, what field are you looking in, or what kinds of jobs are you looking for? Because then they don't feel pinpointed.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Right.
And then the question why. The question why puts people on the defensive. So in coaching, I will very often just ask people to do their best to try in their relationships to take that completely out of their vocabulary. And it's not easy, believe me. I just had an interaction with my husband this past weekend, and later I reflected on it and I went, Oh, I know what I did. I said, I told, well, there's two things, why and you, and we'll talk about you in a minute. It was really the you, now that I'm thinking about it, that I used, but those two things. So why puts people on the defensive, because they're having to think about a defense, you know, why am I doing this? And so their mind goes there and they shut down, they stop hearing anything else, and they're just trying to communicate the reason. And want you to understand the reason they want you to understand, you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
And so that was my problem with my husband. And what I said to him was, you aren't hearing my question. And he said, I absolutely am hearing your question. And he was hearing the words of my question, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. He heard the question. I asked it twice. You know? But when I said you, it's the same sort of thing as why. So we want to take that out as much as possible too. Of course, we're going to use the words you and why, but in those situations where you're having maybe not necessarily even what you would call conflict or fight, but just maybe a touchy situation where it's maybe not going quite so well.
Yeah, so how would you rephrase that question?
You aren't hearing my question? I would probably say, I must not be asking my question correctly.
Okay, so you're taking it off of them and putting it onto yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they maybe aren't understanding the intent.
Exactly.
And we assume sometimes that everybody is knowing our intent of our question, and we've got something else going in our mind, but it doesn't always come out in our words.
So reframing or pre-framing or just framing, those are all words that we use in the coaching world. And that's all about making sure people know before you start a conversation, even, you know, if you think it might be touchy or sensitive, then to pre-frame it and talk about what is the goal of this conversation. Think before you speak. You know, it's a really good idea,
is good. So, okay. So we've got not to use why or you.
Right. Be careful about
Be careful about those. And what was our last tip?
Pre-frame.
Pre-frame and know your goal before you go into the conversation.
Right.
So that's actually really good. I mean, not just with your spouse, but with a girlfriend or, you know, because sometimes, or people you're working with, sometimes you're working on a project maybe at school or something with some gals that you maybe don't really know really well.
Yes.
And you've got to clear something up, so that's actually a very good thought.
Yes, and if you can state that to them at the very beginning, then they're a lot more likely to go with you through that question and follow through and go, oh, we know why you're asking the question, so we don't feel like we have to be defensive about it. We can just state the facts.
Okay, so I just want to pause for a second and say hello. We've got, let's see if I can see. Let's see, I need glasses on to see everybody.
Looks like Candy.
Candy, hi Candy's my sister. Hi. And we've got Karen and we've got Tara. Hi Tara. And so just want to let you know again, I am here with Suzette Parker from Coaching
for Holy Living.
For Holy Living. I don't know what is my problem. It's like right in front of me too. So.
It was covered up.
We've had some technical difficulties. We're learning how to do this. We finally got into a hot spot, so we're good to go. But and this is Fave LIfestyles. I am Karen, and this is Suzette, and we are talking about relationships. And we are filming live here at the golf club at Echo Falls. Make sure you either one of two things, watch to the end. We're going to be telling you about a coupon we have for you. We have two special things, one from Suzette about coaching, so if you need a life coach, and we're going to be talking about who does need a life coach also. And then we've got a lunch special for you that you can bring a girlfriend out here and have lunch at Echo Falls and enjoy the beautiful view. So
it is beautiful here.
Yes, and we've just got so many great things. There's so many topics. So we're going to be doing a whole series on health and wellness. We've got some nutritionists coming up in some future shows. So gals, you'll want to stay plugged into the Fave LIfestyles group page, the women's group page, because that's where everything is going to be happening. And just so many talented people that we get to plug into and share. We get to share your talents with all these ladies here. So I really appreciate you being here with us.
It's fun.
So let's talk a little bit more about relationships.
Sure.
Yeah, so what are a couple other tips for us?
Well, think about what you want to get out of the relationship. Because if you think about what you want to get out of the relationship and you put yourself on the other side of that and then try to give it instead of just thinking about the getting. You know, it was funny to me when I was in coaching school a long time ago that it did not matter what genre of coaching, and I don't even know what the right word was, but I mean, there was every kind of coaching out there. You know, there was business coaching, there was New Age coaching, there was Christian coaching, there was all sorts of different things, pretty mainstream coaching. And all of them said, and also there's every different religion, not just Christian. There was like the Hindus and the everything, you know, so Muslim, and everybody said that we've got to get our clients to remember that it's when they stop thinking about themselves. You think about coaching as being all about you, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that every genre of coaching, we all say, you've got to stop thinking about yourself so much and thinking about the others and how we're affecting the world, you know, the world or our relationships, our people.
Right.
And when we do that, when we start focusing on the others, and you know, there's a lot of coaching about volunteering as well, and that can be a really great thing for some people. But just in relationships, if we think about the things that we want to get out of the relationship and make sure that our partner or our friend is getting that thing we want, then it's very likely that we will get that thing in return. Not always. I mean, you know, but generally, you know, in one of my workshops we talk about this cycle and how when one person gets off this vicious cycle, that it stops the turning of the vicious cycle, and so it just takes one person getting off of it in order to jump off.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so part of that jumping off thing is then being able to go back to, you know, giving what you want to get out of it. And I mean, sometimes, you know, we could be married to a psychopath, it's possible, but usually when we change who we are, it changes everything else in the cycle.
Oh, okay. Yes, and I know it's so easy as we're talking to somebody, we're thinking about, what am I going to get out of this? Or how am I going to interpret it? Or, you know, it's all focused here. So how do you do that? How do you...
Oh gosh, Karen.
How do you change from here to here? Okay, well, okay. A quick tip.
A quick tip. Yeah, I'm not sure
it's like taking your eyes off yourself and putting them on others.
Right. So I would say, here's a huge thing. Start baby steps. Baby steps are the biggest thing. So a lot of times, no matter what we're doing in life, we look at that big goal, the thing we want. It doesn't matter what it is, a career goal, you know, a dream, you know, some sort of dream that we want to achieve, or a relationship that we want to flourish and be great again. Maybe it was once, or maybe you never had it at all. But as long as you're just looking at that big end goal, we get a little paralyzed because it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, so if you just bite it off into baby step chunks, you want to have the goal, but then don't look at it and let it paralyze you. You have to look at it to let it motivate you. And for some people, they need to not look at it every day. They just need to look at their baby steps. Maybe once a week, look at the big goal. And then other times, the rest of the week, you're just looking at the baby steps to get there. And you do want to look back and say, oh, okay, so are the steps I'm taking getting there? So let's talk about that. You know, what would a baby step be?
Yeah.
You want to just do a little coaching session?
Okay.
Put her on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go ahead and we'll see.
So what's one thing that you want to get out of any relationship? It doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be specific. It could be anything.
Out of any relationship, I think you want to feel value, that your person is of value to the world or to a friend or to a spouse.
And how would you feel valued?
Having somebody listen.
Okay, so having someone listen. All right, so what would be a baby step that you could take in helping that other person that you're wanting, you know, this relationship with, for them to feel listened to?
To look them in the eye and actually give my full attention.
Okay, that would be one.
Yeah.
Yep, that's one baby step. So if this was actually a coaching session, I would ask Karen, do you want that to be one of your action steps for the week? And we try not to have too many action steps because it can be overwhelming, right?
Certainly.
And so, you know, and then that would be the thing that you would practice for the week. And it seems like a slow process.
So I'll practice that.
There you go. There we go.
You know, it's not always easy when we have to turn around because we think, oh, well, they should be doing something. It's them they're not.
Honestly, I have to tell you that the best...
This is kind of eye-opening here.
Yeah.
That's why we all need a life coach, is
Yeah.
to just, and it's becoming aware of a lot of these things. Because
really
we
is.
just don't think about it because we're just living our life.
It is so true. We just get busy.
Yeah.
Hey, I told you about the conversation with my husband. It was a stressed time for me. I was about to do a 12-hour workshop I'd never done before. And, and in the midst of it, having some conflict, And so it was tough, and I wasn't on my best behavior, And one of the things that I said to all these young couples that I was speaking to was that we don't want to be wordsmiths, right? It's like we just want to be ourselves when we're with somebody that we love. You're supposed to be on my team and I'm on yours, and so you're supposed to hear me for what I'm really thinking. You should know my heart. Ha! It doesn't work that way, right?
Right, no.
And so we do have to kind of be a little bit concerned about our words, because they fall on somebody else the way they fall on them, and we can't determine if they're feeling like they're on our team or not right then, right? And
Right. Right. I mean, how many, even with, conflicts, people just, they're speaking because they're angry or whatever,
Right.
and then they come back and I didn't really mean that. It's not really what I meant to say. I mean, I've done that myself, so.
Oh, we all do. We all do. Right.
Yeah, so anyway, super great information. So just quickly go over the tips that you've given us here today.
Oh gosh.
Can you just recap?
Let's see.
So
Okay, we talked. Yeah, go. If you remember, that's
No,
awesome.
no,
Okay.
the first one I don't, but the second one, let's see. So we
Well, we talked about the you,
Yes.
taking or being really careful with how you use the word you and how you use the word why. Why puts you in the defensive, and you very often will sound like you're blaming them, and when it doesn't even matter if it's a real big fight or not. Using the word you're not hearing my question right. Like, really, was that a bad thing to say? But yeah, it was not good. and then stepping back and asking broader questions.
Okay.
It feels impersonal to us, the one who's asking, but it can help the other person open up and feel very cared for. And let's see, what else did we talk about?
You were also talking about, it was there, now it's gone. Does that happen to anybody else where you've got this thought and then it like pops out of your head?
We don't have a script.
Yeah, no, we don't have a script. So, gosh, isn't that, yes. We're going to have to watch the video so we know what we said.
Yeah, there we go. Of course, the second it's off, we'll remember, right?
Oh, I know. You were talking about having a goal when you're talking with somebody to know what you...
Oh, pre-framing. Yes,
Pre-framing,
thank you.
so,
Yes. Pre-framing, reframing, framing, they're all kind of basically the same.
Yes.
Just knowing the end goal of the conversation.
Okay. And then taking baby steps.
Taking baby steps. So
Yeah.
know what you want, know
Yes,
the big goal,
yes.
and then giving what you want to receive, rather than focusing on yourself.
Okay, that's the big one.
Focusing-
That's a good one too for our last tip.
Without the expectation that you're going to receive it right away. And
Right.
that's the really, really tough part.
Yes, and taking our eyes off of ourselves and putting them on others. So, ladies, I just want to thank you so much for joining us, and guys. And I know relationships go men and women, so everyone can really benefit. So, just very quickly, tell us who needs a life coach? Why?
Oh, sure.
Why would you go to a life coach? How do you know you need one?
Right. So I deal with, and most coaches deal with, basically healthy. We're all, that's a very variable term, but people who are not necessarily wanting healing, because that would be therapy.
Okay.
But people who have something that they want to achieve, and it can be in work or life or relationships. Every coach has their niche.
Okay.
And they have something they want to achieve, and maybe you just aren't achieving it for some reason. So trying to figure out what's holding you back.
Okay.
And then-
And I noticed on your website that you work with maybe women who are re-entering the workforce.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yes,
Love
so
it.
I know a lot of our ladies, we have talked about that, and I know a lot of gals that are going back to work after not being there for 25, 30 years.
Yes.
And it can be scary, and wouldn't it be nice to have somebody to walk you through that process and kind of be in your court and stuff, so yeah.
Another thing that I do, and I just want to address, is that I do relationship coaching, but I will say that some of my most successful clients in relationships have been when I've worked with one person rather than both. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, sometimes it works great when two people are both on the same page. Yes, we want to make this work, but so often that's not the case.
Okay.
And so working with one person could do wonders.
Awesome, that's fantastic. So gals and guys, I wanted to let you know about the golf club at Echo Falls. The grill here where we are filming is giving 25% off your meal. So just one per table, one customer. Just show the coupon will be on the website, because we can't do it on Facebook, but it will be on the website at favelifestyles.com. You'll see this video, and attached to it will be a coupon. So when you come in here, just go to favelifestyles.com, show them your phones, show them the little coupon, and they'll take the 25% off for you. And that is good until the end of December. And so you can come have lunch with a girlfriend or whoever and just have a good time, and then tell them quickly again about your special.
20% off if you mention Fave Lifestyles for any coaching package or workshop.
Awesome, so fun. We will see you next time at Fave Lifestyles on our health and wellness series. We've got a couple nutritionists coming up, and so check the web or the Facebook page to see when those will be live. We'll see you next time on Fave Lifestyles.